It was a chilly Friday night in the small town of Cedar Creek. The streets were mostly empty, with only the occasional car passing by, headlights flickering across the quiet neighborhoods. I, Emily Carter, had just started my night shift delivering pizzas for Tony's Pizzeria. It wasn't my first late-night run, but something about this night felt different. At precisely midnight, my first delivery request popped up on the app. It was a house at the far end of Maple Street, a large, older home that looked welcoming even in the darkness. I grabbed the pizza from the heated bag, adjusted my scarf against the cold, and drove my old Toyota down the narrow road. When I arrived, I noticed the warm glow of lights inside the house, and a little garden gnome waving in the moonlight seemed to greet me. I rang the doorbell and stepped back, shivering slightly. The door swung open, and a woman in her mid-30s, with short brown hair and a bright smile, greeted me.
"Hi. You must be Emily," she said.
"Thank you so much for coming this late," I smiled, handing over the pizza. "No problem.
"Just doing my job."
That'll be $20. As she handed me the cash, I noticed her eyes lingered on me with a kind of curiosity, not the usual hurried politeness most customers showed. There was something calm and comforting about her presence. "Oh, you can keep the change," she said, placing a few extra bills in my hand. "Actually, would you like some water or a warm drink? You must be freezing out there." I hesitated, but something about her kindness made me nod. "Sure, just a small cup of water would be great." She led me to the kitchen, where the aroma of freshly baked bread and spices filled the air. It was cozy and homey, a stark contrast to the cold, empty streets outside. As I sipped my water, she struck up a conversation. "I'm Laura, by the way. I live here with my daughter, Mia. She's asleep now, but she's usually very excited to get pizza at night," she said. "Mia must be lucky," I replied, smiling. "I'm Emily, and I deliver pizzas all over town. It's not glamorous, but I love meeting people like you." Laura laughed softly. "It's nice to meet someone who genuinely enjoys their work. Most people just see it as a job." The conversation continued, light and easy, until I realized I had spent more time inside the house than intended. I glanced at my watch and realized nearly 30 minutes had passed. "I should probably get going," I said. Laura walked me to the door. "Thank you again, Emily. Honestly, it's been a long time since someone brought more than just pizza to my door. You brought kindness, too." Her words stayed with me as I drove back through the empty streets. That night, I couldn't stop thinking about the warmth of that house, the genuine smile of Laura, and the subtle comfort that had filled me while I was there. Over the next few weeks, my midnight deliveries seemed to cluster around Laura's neighborhood. Every time I delivered, I was greeted with the same warmth and kindness. Sometimes Mia would peek from behind the door, giving me a shy wave. It became a routine I looked forward to, though I kept reminding myself that it was just part of my job. Then one night, a particularly heavy snowstorm hit Cedar Creek. Roads were slippery and visibility was low. I received a delivery order for Laura's house. Despite the weather, I bundled up and drove carefully through the snow, my headlights cutting through the white haze. When I arrived, I found Laura struggling to shovel her driveway. "Emily, you made it," she exclaimed, running over to greet me. I wasn't sure anyone would come in this storm. I hopped out, taking my boots off the pedals to help her. Together, we shoveled enough of the driveway to get my car close to the door. The act was simple, but the laughter and shared effort made the night memorable. Laura invited me in again, offering hot cocoa this time. We sat by the fireplace, and Mia joined us after a few minutes, her cheeks rosy from the cold. That night, as I watched the snow fall outside through the window, I realized how much this little act of delivering pizza had grown into a genuine friendship. Weeks turned into months, and my visits became something I eagerly anticipated. Laura and I would talk for hours about books, movies, and the quirks of small-town life. Mia became more comfortable around me, sharing stories from school and laughing at my exaggerated impressions of characters from her favorite cartoons. One evening, Laura invited me to a local community event where residents came together to celebrate the holidays. I agreed, feeling a strange sense of excitement. At the event, I met many of Laura's neighbors, and I realized how connected she was to the town. People greeted her warmly, and I felt proud to know someone so beloved. By now, the simple act of delivering pizza had transformed into something far more meaningful. I wasn't just a delivery girl anymore. I was part of a circle of trust, friendship, and warmth that I hadn't realized I was missing in my life. One night, as I wrapped up my deliveries, I reflected on how a small, seemingly ordinary act, delivering pizza at midnight, had changed everything. Not in grand, dramatic ways, but in the quiet, subtle ways that truly matter. Friendships, laughter, trust, and the joy of connection were what made life meaningful. And it all started with a simple knock at the door. From that night onward, I never looked at pizza deliveries the same way. Each knock became an opportunity to connect, to make someone's day brighter, and sometimes, to allow my own life to be touched by unexpected kindness. And in the quiet, snowy streets of Cedar Creek, I realized that even the smallest acts could lead to the biggest changes in life, just by showing up with a smile, a warm pizza, and an open heart.